and welcome to episode 2 of our Game of Thrones season 7 recap series. I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm John.
This week we've got episode 2 of season 7, named Stormborn.
Yeah.
I'll just jump straight into it.
Just go straight into it. Just talk about the relevance of the name Stormborn. I mean, we're going to get right into it in a minute, but like Daenerys was born during a storm, and she's known as Daenerys Stormborn.
I mean, I knew she was known as this, but until I was talking to you guys today, I didn't actually know that was why.
Right.
I mean, I should have done it. Made sense. Stormborn, born in a storm, made sense. But until I was talking to people, I didn't actually quite get the relevance of it. But good to have found that out today. I'll start at the beginning anyway. Beginning of the episode, we catch up with Daenerys, where I think she instantly questions. Tyrion, says, "Oh, if this storm, because it's a very stormy night. It's like very much like the one that you were born in." Yeah. Like I said, I was talking to people, you lot today about it, and that's when they were like, "Yeah, she was born in a storm." And in this scene, we get a little thing with Varys. Yeah. Where, like, she's basically questioning his loyalty.
She is. I mean, I love this. Can I go into this? The reason why she's questioning it. They're talking about Daenerys being Stormborn, all that kind of thing. And Varys gives her the speech that he gave Viserys back in Series 1. He's like, yeah, the lords and ladies here are crying out for your return. They drink secret toasts to your health. And she calls him out on it, saying like, yeah, you told the same thing to my brother back in Series 1. And she basically pushes him on the fact that he'll tell her anything she wants to hear. Yeah. As long as it keeps him, like a bit closer to her kind of thing.
Like she says, like you were serving Robert, weren't you? And as soon as he died, like you started serving the next king as well. Yeah.
You served my father until you betrayed him for Robert. You served Robert until you betrayed him for me, Yeah. She's saying, why on earth should I trust you? But I just love his reply, where the actual wording of it is, I believe, he proper goes back, snaps back at her, and the point of it is that he says that incompetence shouldn't breed blind loyalty. I just love that, because he's right.
Yeah, he's very much right. Yeah.
If she becomes the Mad Queen, he shouldn't have to, just stay loyal to her.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it calls back Jaime Lannister, his ethics of killing the king, being the Kingslayer. But should you stay loyal to a king who is clearly lost the plot and is dangerous, you know what I mean? Exactly, it's just all issues like that kind of thing. Yeah. And
I think she makes him swear. It's like, well, if you're going to, instead of scheme behind my back, which you have done with like many kings in the past, like 3 in the past, God knows how many years. If you see that I've gone that way, don't scheme behind my back. Tell me to my face, as you've done just now. Excuse me. As you've done just now. Just tell me to my face that I'm going mad. So instead of scheming behind my back. Yeah.
But she then goes on to say as well. Oh, how does she word it now? She says, and if I ever find you, going behind my back like that, I'll burn you alive. It's like, I'd expect nothing less.
from the Queen of Fire. Or the Queen of Dragons.
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
Yeah, it was dead good.
I just love that whole interaction. Like, Varys is just a really cool character anyway. But just the way that, like, Tyrion chips in to defend Varys as if, like, God, we need to defend him here. But Varys is just cool as a cucumber and just comes back at it kind of thing. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was great to see that. It was a good little intro to the episode, wasn't it?
And just the fact that Varys will take no shit. He doesn't care if she's the queen or not. He'll tell her like it is kind of thing,
Are we done with that scene? You good?
Is this the bit where... Oh, no, it's coming back to Lady Olenna. That's later, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a bit later on.
Sorry, yeah, go on.
It's still with Daenerys. It's with Melisandre.
Yeah.
Where she comes and she's basically saying to her, it's the scene where she's saying, like, they're speaking in Dornish, aren't they, to one another? And she's saying now there's a prophecy for a prince to come and...
Yeah, the prince that was promised. I believe it's Azar Ahai or something it's called. The prophecy of the prince that was promised. There's a lot of P's that. The prophecy of the prince that was promised. And they have this issue of where, like, Daenerys saying, why can't it be a princess?
Well, she doesn't say that, does she? She says this to her in Danish, and she said back in English, like, "Oh, the prophecy of the prince. The problem is, I'm not a prince."
Yeah, that's it.
And her little, I can't remember her name.
Missandei, I think it is. Missandei, yeah.
Missandei. She replies, "Well, you've actually got a bit of a mistranslation here. It's in Danish. There's no gender in that word. It's prince or princess."
Yeah, gotta admit, it feels like a bit of a cop out that to me. Like, that's convenient.
I felt that a bit, to be honest. Oh, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
But so like they start talking of Jon Snow. I think Melisandre basically says you need to get Jon Snow down here because he's a top bloke.
he knows what he's doing. Like,
essentially, yeah.
Yeah, and Tyrion chips in as well. He's like, I've met Jon Snow at the Wall, years ago. I liked him. You can trust him. And Daenerys kind of replies with like, yeah, give him a call, get him down here, and make him bend the knee.
Just to mention as well, in this scene, we've got Varys in there, and he's not too happy with something she's saying. Because she obviously knows that she was like with Stannis Baratheon, and he's like, oh, yeah, sure, your previous prince, didn't
work out that well.
Yeah.
But the big thing with that as well is he has a bias against any Lords of Light anyway, any like red priests or priestesses. Because the man who cut his tackle off and burnt it in the fire was a red priest. So,
right.
Yeah, so he immediately wants nothing to do with them, kind of thing.
That makes sense. Yeah. But like,
he also just mentioned the Stannis thing. You served the last king.
Daenerys was like, going back to the previous scene. Daenerys is like, well, as it happens, we've just pardoned people that were following the wrong.
Yeah, following the wrong king or something. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like, I quite like that scene.
Yeah, that was good.
This is like, let me say, where Daenerys says, like, send the raven to Jon Snow. So we know it's coming at this point. Which brings me on to the next scene.
Yeah.
Which was Jon Snow receiving the raven.
Yeah, it was quick.
It was very quick. 2 seconds for that raven to get all the way up north.
It takes like 5 series to walk up, up Westeros, but like, Raven's there.
Raven's there in a split second. And he receives it, and it's got that little note at the bottom of it from Tyrion. Basically, I'm assuming you can quite well assume that it was to say, like, it's from Tyrion, trust me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's saying, like, all dwarfs are bastards to their fathers.
Yeah.
Which is something that Tyrion said to Jon Snow in, I believe, season 1.
Yeah, when they were on the wall, I think it was, yeah.
Right at the beginning when they first went to the wall, wasn't it? And I think, like, there's a bit of an interaction where what's the Lord's name that he was with?
Was it Davos?
Davos, Lord Davos. He's like saying, I can't remember what he said now.
Well, there's one bit, I don't know if it's the bit you go into, but that I really like, where Jon Snow's telling, I think it was Sansa there as well at this point. Was there as He's telling them, you can trust Tyrion. You were married to him. He's a kind bloke and everything. You can trust him. And I think it's Davos who reminds him, saying, yeah, that's all well and good. But and the letter is very nice and what have you. But he also mentions the fact they've got a Dothraki horde. So it's not completely innocent kind of thing. Yeah. He drops in mention of a Dothraki horde and 3 dragons.
Yeah.
So just to keep him on his toes. Kind of thing.
And like you say, Sansa's saying, like, you're not saying he should go, kind of thing. Like, and that's when he says that. Like, no, like, it's very dangerous.
Yeah. But we have to kind of
weigh up our options, everything. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Following that scene, we cut then to Cersei, where she's talking to the Lords of Westeros, namely Lord Tarly, Sam's father, and she's basically trying to convince them all that Daenerys is evil. She's the Mad Queen, and no Targaryen can be trusted. She's talking of Lady Olenna. No. Is that Lady Olenna?
Yeah, Lady Olenna, yeah.
Olenna, that's it. Lady Olenna, and saying how she's like betrayed them all because she's like allowed all the Dothraki to come over to Westeros for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And I think Lord Tarly's like, I think he's not very trusting of her at this point, is he?
Yeah, I mean, he's not. It doesn't seem like a particularly nice guy or nice father, Randall Tarly, but he's loyal by the look of it. You know what I mean? He's like a Ned Stark kind of thing. He will not break his oath lightly, kind of thing. You know, so he seems very unconvinced. But what I like about it is Cersei's actually showing that she knows what she's doing here, because she's not lying. She's explaining to them. We've got Daenerys coming over, going a bit mad. She killed a lot of people over in Marine, all the slavers. She's got a Dothraki horde with her. You know, not good news.
Literally bringing a load of foreigners over.
Yeah.
Trying to make out like, prey on like people's fears, like foreign people are coming over to our country to take it over. Kind of thing.
Hashtag Brexit. Yep.
Hashtag Brexit. Yeah. Don't want to get too far into that. And then I think Lord Tarly says like, apparently she's got 3 fully grown dragons with her. Like in so many words, like. What are we going to do about that? Yeah. and what's his name?
Maester Qyburn.
Yeah. He's been, we've got a solution for that. Or we're coming up with a solution for that. I've not read the books. You know this. I know you have. And you've told me before that there was a dragon horn.
There's a horn that forever, the person who uses it will die, but Euron Crowseye has it. And the books end with his plan being going and capturing the dragons with it. Obviously, you'll have to find some fool to blow the horn for him to actually, because it kills you kind of thing. But yeah, so as soon as I heard that, I was thinking as well, it's the horn.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, this is that horn that John was on about. Yeah. But we'll get to what it actually was in a bit. Yeah. Just going to say it was a bit bloody... disappointing to say the least.
Yeah, hashtag The Hobbit.
The next scene, it's just after the meeting. It's with Jaime, where he goes up to Lord Tarly, and he's basically talking to him about swearing allegiance, saying like, look at Lady Olenna, she's a bit kooky now.
She was a great woman at one point, but she's lost the plot now.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Like she's brought Dothraki over, and then he's like, and like you say, he's not likely to break his oath so easily, because he's saying like, I swore an oath to the
Tyrells.
The Tyrell. There's so many
Tyrells and Tarlys. It's like, oh god,
Tarlys, Targaryens, but the Tyrells, and he's like, I'm not gonna break my oath. You know, I've made an oath to this family.
Yeah, I mean, did he mention then? I like the bit he says to him. You know, we're the Tarlys. We aren't the Lannisters. We don't break oaths at a moment's notice and kill people, kill guests under their roofs and stuff.
Slit
like
their
that.
Throats at a wedding or something like that.
Yeah. And Jamie's clearly annoyed at this, but he basically implies that, yeah, that's all well and good, but look, you're doing this, or we're going to war with you, kind of thing.
Either you do this or you die.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And that's pretty much the end of this. The end of that scene, unless no, I think that's the end of the scene. We then cut.
Oh, so just one final point on that, just to mention. It's kind of notorious as well that Randall Tarly has one of the best armies and like fighters available, kind of thing. So it's like a big power for the Lannisters to acquire. So
that that's why Jaime is
so keen to get him on board, kind of thing. I'll come back to that in my predictions at the end, but yeah.
Okay. We cut from there to a scene with Jorah, Sam, and Archmaester Ebros maybe. Honestly, I keep writing his name down and I can never know how to say it.
Yeah, I have no idea with that one.
But it's Archmaester Ebros by Jim Broadbent.
Jim Broadbent, yeah.
And they're basically talking about Jorah's grayscale, and the Archmaister's saying like, it's a bit far gone now. You're basically dying tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think Sam brings up, doesn't he, saying like, I think there's a solution here. And it's like, no, there's a solution in young infant children, But like, he's a fully grown adult, and it's very far gone. He's dying tomorrow.
And like one of the things he mentions, a little point that Jim Broadbent mentions that I liked. He says to him, normally you'd be sent straight to the Stone Men and you go mad there and die.
Yeah.
Because you're an anointed knight, I'll give you 1 day, and glances at the sword as if to say, kill yourself. Yeah. That's all you've got left, kind of thing. So, yeah, just a little grim point to finish on.
But like, there's not much going on there. It's just them three having that conversation. It's just basically tell us that Jorah's dying tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's not much can be done about it. But
although Sam does realise at this point that he is Jorah Mormont. Excuse me. And that he fought with his father for the Night's Watch.
He says something like, "Oh, what's your name?" Like, so I can contact your family, kind of thing. And it's like, "Oh, Jorah Mormont," and you see in his face that it's like, "Oh God, the guy that I was under," kind of thing for a bit. After that scene, we go to Qyburn.
Yep.
And Cersei, where Meister Qyburn is showing Cersei the arrow, which is very reminiscent of the arrow from the Hobbit films.
Yeah.
And just so happens this arrow is also built to kill dragons.
It looks exactly the same.
It's literally the exact same.
Yeah.
It's a big black arrow, and it's made to kill dragons.
So like we were saying in work today, I was hoping it'd be a bit more of a kind of magical, mystical solution. Like, we have this thing, I plan.
Well, I thought it might be the dragon horn.
The horn or something. But it's like, no, we've just got a big arrow.
Got a big arrow. Yeah. And I think we were talking about it again today. There's only got one. I mean, maybe they've got more hidden away, but...
Might be an idea to... There was only one Smaug in The Hobbit, and there's 3 of these things. So.
Exactly. So surely they're going to have to make at least 3.
Yeah.
So that they can actually do damage. Like, because surely if they killed... Even if they managed to kill one, on the off chance they killed the one, surely the other 2 are just like, yeah, let's avoid that.
Yeah.
Let's avoid that arrow. Let's either avoid it or let's just go behind it and we can burn it and kill it.
Just take it down. And...
You know what I mean? That's done.
Yeah, done.
Forever. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how it's going to turn out. Maybe they do have a big wall full of these.
Maybe
arrows.
a whole battlement full of them. But one final point on that: a certain other Lannister was fond of a crossbow. Young Joffrey.
He was.
Yeah, so it's a little callback, I think, a bit Lannister callback.
Yeah.
The mum's now got a crossbow, but it's a lot bigger than Joffrey's was.
She does everything a lot bigger, doesn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's pretty much that scene in a nutshell. We then cut to a little scene back with Daenerys where it's Yara, Alaria, so it's Yara Greyjoy, Alaria Sand, and Lady Elena. Tyrion's there and Daenerys, and they're basically talking war tactics.
Yep.
And I think Lady Elena and
the Sand Snakes
Alaria
as well.
Sand
is
saying like, and Yara for that matter, they're all saying like, well, aren't you going to attack? What are we doing here, kind of thing?
Just like attack now, now's the time to do it.
And then Tyrion's like, well, we've got a plan. This is where he kind of points out that the Dornish and the Tyrells will basically lay siege to King's Landing. And it's like, well, why have you... They're all saying, like, why have you brought your Dothraki and your Unsullied armies if you're not going to do all of them?
Yeah.
And that's when, like, they come to this whole racist... Well, not... This fear that they're bringing, like, foreigners over.
Yeah.
It's like, well...
It'll play into Cersei's hands kind of thing. But I like that little bit from Lady Olenna when she's like, oh, so I understand what your master plan is now. Use our armies.
Yeah. But then Tyrion's response to that is, well, we're... if, like, Cersei's obviously trying to get people scared, saying they're bringing foreigners over. She will be saying this to people, like, we're bringing foreigners over, so we don't want to use foreign armies to lay siege because people will just get scared.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do with our armies, the Dothraki and the Unsullied, we're going to send them over to Casterly Rock.
Yep.
And which is obviously it's basically the seat of the Lannisters.
It's the Lannister home, yeah. Send them there. If they capture that, they'll have pretty much the Lannister finances. I believe it's built on a pot of gold, basically.
Is it really?
Like all the gold's there and stuff. So
Yeah.
they'll have all the finances of the crown and that kind of thing. So yeah, Tyrion's plan is to. I think he mentions there's no point in ruling over a pile of ashes.
Yeah.
But then Lady Olenna has another nice comeback saying, my daughter was once a loved queen as well, and now she's just a pile of ashes kind of thing. So, you need to be careful about doing things the right way. Which I think, just a quick prediction here, I think that will come back to bite them in the arse a bit. Tyrion has been so adamant about doing things the right way with the least amount of death.
Yeah.
Knowing where things go later in the episode, I think Tyrion's head will be on the block next week. Metaphorically speaking, I think Daenerys is going to have a few issues with Tyrion's plan next week with the way things have gone.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that later on in the episode, but it kicks off, to say the least. Next scene after, we see like Daenerys. She asks Lady Alena to have like a word in silence.
Yeah,
and they're having this little interaction, and it ends by Alena basically saying to her, like, you're not a sheep, you're a dragon, so don't... because what she's saying is, like, Tyrion's a very clever man, and I've known many clever men in my lifetime, and I've outlived them all, and you know how I've done that? Because I've ignored them all.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I know I love that line, and then she says, like, you're not a sheep, you're a dragon, like...
Yeah.
Do what you know is right, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that scene.
That's really good. Yeah. We'll carry on for now. I'll come back to that later on. But
okay. Next scene is Grey Worm and Miss Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Saying goodbye.
Yeah.
It's like Miss Sunday is obviously a bit upset with Grey Worm because it seems like he's just going to go off to Casterly Rock and not say goodbye. And we find out here that Missandei's his weakness.
Yeah, it's real charmer. You are my weakness.
I know, yeah. I mean, don't. I think that's kind of sweet.
I've got to admit, I know it's probably not a popular thing, but I couldn't give a fuck about Grey Worm. Like, all this stuff. I'm like, oh.
But like, we've got this scene now where like they have this whole interaction.
Yeah.
And then, basically, she strips down, and let me say, she has a very shapely body.
Big fan of Natalie Emmanuel. Yep.
Like I'm a big fan of her body as well. Yeah. And she strips down and she starts taking Grey Worm's clothes off, and then she goes to take his like pants off, kind of thing, and he's like, no, don't.
Yeah.
And she
don't go there.
Essentially, and because we know already that all Unsullied have their manhood removed.
Yep, completely. Root and stem. Yeah.
Root and stem. Yeah. So we can only assume that means all of it.
Yep.
So
he's like an action man down there, kind of thing.
Pretty much an action man. And after he says no, she's like, oh, well, I really wanted to see you. So he allows it. And I don't know what her reaction to that was. It was just
yeah, when she finally goes for it, I swear there's a look on her face like, what the fuck? I don't know if it's meant to be like that or not, but or they're going for like a sweet kind of, oh, it doesn't matter, but she definitely is like, oh my God.
But like, we like, I mean, we've spoke to people today about it, like, and certain people have said like, if anyone else just wanted to see what's there.
Yeah, definitely.
I, for one, actually kind of wanted to see what was there.
Yeah. Natalie Emmanuel, all well and good, she's beautiful, but just pan down for a second.
I want to know what's going
what's
on.
Actually going on.
Like what's going to happen in this next scene? Like what's what
is actually literally happening?
But this next scene, it's basically where like she pulls him on top of him, and it seems almost like they're about to start going at it, and it's like, oh, maybe he does have something down there. But then it soon turns into him just going down on it.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, if you had that happen to you, you'd have no desire for it whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Well, that's supposedly the point, isn't it? Like they're supposed to have no desires.
Yeah, completely unemotional. You know, that kind of thing. I like Masandai, but I've got to make Grey Worm. I'm like, I couldn't be
boring.
Yeah. Again, I mentioned last week on a show that's closing down. There's like 13 episodes left or whatever. To spend this amount of time on something like this, I'm like, oh come on, you've got better stuff to be getting on with than Grey Worm.
Yeah. But I mean, it's only a short scene, but I guess it was supposed to be just a little touching goodbye.
Oh, little touching. There's definitely a little touching going on.
There was definitely a bit of touching going on there. It's supposed to, like, I guess it was supposed to make you think, oh, that's quite nice. Like he's finally feeling, maybe, which might play into like this like coming war, like, well, let's say war battle.
Yeah.
Because maybe she will be the reason he doesn't succeed. Who knows?
Yeah, possibly.
We don't know yet, because like we're assuming this Battle of Castle Rock will come in a coming episode. I've
got a feeling, again, I don't want to jump to predictions too early, but I think they won't have an issue getting Castle Rock. It's everything else that's going to be the issue, I think. That'll be the one bit of good news.
We'll see. But like I say, if she really is his weakness, maybe he'd be too scared to battle after this little scene.
And becomes his downfall.
Maybe. We cut from there back to Sam Tarly, Sam Tarly, an archmate Ebros, Ebros, who knows, walking around the library, and Sam asks about the grayscale again, and he's saying like, I think I've got the solution, kind of thing.
Yeah. I read it in like Maester Pylos, is it? Maester Pylos' notes or something.
That was it. I read
he cured 2 people.
Oh yeah, he cured like 2 fully grown people. Like, yeah, I don't want to tell you how he died. Grayscale. So.
And Sam's like, oh.
I think they're talking in this scene as well about the Archmaester's book that he's writing, and it's the coming wars following the death of Robert Baratheon or something like that.
Yeah. Something like the Great War following the death of Robert I or something like that, yeah.
Something like that. And just a little throwaway line, but it's like he says to Sam, like, what would you call it, kind of thing. And he goes, oh, something a little bit more poetic. It might be a very long shot, but I was reading the fan theory earlier on, and it's kind of saying that like Sam, like this whole Game of Thrones, we're kind of seeing it from his point of view, and that kind of throwaway line might make out that like he's kind of the writer of it.
Yeah.
As in, because like poetic, you're thinking kind of a song of fire and ice, or ice and fire.
Yeah, song of ice and fire.
Ice and fire. Or even Game of Thrones, that's somewhat poetic in itself.
Yeah, more so than the death of Robert I or whatever.
Exactly. So, like, this fan theory may very well
definitely
be coming true. Maybe
we'll come back to this next year at the end of the series when Samuel closes the book and it's There and Back Again by Samuel Tarly.
Very much so. Yeah, very, very possibly, John.
Another Hobbit callback.
Well, we've got all of these like references to Lord of the Rings in this show, haven't we?
Yeah.
Like the similarities are like very, very close.
Yeah, the overall fantasy thing is definitely lifted from Lord of the Rings kind of thing.
Definitely, yeah.
Just even to the point of Westeros being Middle Earth, you know what I mean? It's just literally 1-to-1 into it.
From that scene, we cut again. We stay with Sam, but he kind of sneaks into Lord Jorah's room, and he essentially he secretly starts treatment on him, in probably one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life. To be honest, he's basically saying like, all right, I'm going to cure you. You're Lord Jorah. You're not dying today. Jorah Mormont, you're a Mormont kind of thing. You're not dying today. I think he says that. It's like, you're Jorah Mormont, you're not dying today. Going back to that scene before where like he realised he was kind of the son of the man he worked under on the wall.
Yeah, Geo Mormont, yeah.
And he starts it basically saying like, I'm gonna do this operation on you, and like it should work. And you're like, right, I need you to bite down on this like belt thing. I want you to bite down on this because I can't have you screaming.
Yeah.
Because if you're heard screaming, then
we're both done for.
Done.
Yeah.
And you find out the reason he's done that is because what he has to do, he has to literally cut off the entire top layer of infected skin.
Yep.
And like rub on the lotion underneath it, and we get to see a bit of this, which was a bit horrible.
It is, but just thinking about it now, if it's that simple to cure grayscale, just catch it early, take off a little patch, and you're done.
Yeah, but does anyone know that it's
maybe not? Yeah,
because I was thinking me that Stannis's daughter, she had it, and maybe there wasn't maybe that scene before where they were talking about this other solution working on like infants because it was caught early.
Yeah,
is good. Maybe it's different with children.
Maybe because I might be imagining this, but I'm sure that Jim Broadbent says like, yes, it's worked before on infants. Does he look like an infant?
True.
Does that actually happen?
He pretty much says that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm thinking like there's another solution for young infants.
Yeah.
Because she still had it on her face. So
it was all like faded away almost.
She definitely didn't have it cut off though. I don't think she had it cut off.
Almost like they just stopped the halt of it kind of thing, like they just stayed there, but didn't get any worse.
Essentially, yeah, that's what it seemed like to me. And he starts hacking away at it anyway. Well, Jory looks like in the most pain ever. He's like, he wants to scream so bad. And they made me laugh this scene because like Sam was like, he was just doing it lightly at first. He's like, right, I need to start hacking away at this kind of thing. And his face, it's the funniest face I've ever seen. It's like this scrunched up face, like,
he's so focused, just trying to saw through it, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he gets like an entire bit off. And he goes to go again, and Jorah's like, yeah, go, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just as he puts the knife in, it's the most disgusting transition from scene to scene I've ever seen in my life. Because he puts his knife in, and it cuts directly to another scene where someone's eating pie, and it's pretty disgusting, if I'm honest with you.
Like a big smash cut straight to a pie, the spoon breaking through the pastry, and like, God knows what pie it was.
But like this, like
filled full of pus by the look.
White cream started coming out of it. Oh, it was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Enough to put you off your dinner. That definitely.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But we cut straight. That's transition cuts to the scene with Arya.
Sorry, before we leave the Joe Mormont thing as well.
Oh, go on.
Talking about Grey Worm looking like an action man. I swear that grayscale goes down beyond his pant level. Like, how far down does that go? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it looked like he went quite low down. So
yeah,
so it's like, have to cut something else off as well. Or...
Yeah, I think I'd rather I'll die. Yeah, I'll just die.
It's fine, just kill me. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm sure it went down below his belt.
It looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah, so God knows what's going to happen there. So,
yeah, we'll have to see what happens there. But like, I actually feel as though like it will cut to him in the next episode, and it'll be all well and good. And be like, yeah let's go back to Daenerys. Yeah. Let's tell her about the dragon glass and
off to Dragonstone.
Essentially, that's what I think will be happening. But
you're right. Actually, that's how Daenerys will find out. Samuel have told him, and he'll tell Daenerys. Yeah. Although, yeah, actually.
Yeah. I'll get to that at the end of the episode. But like I say, it cut to this scene with Arya, and she sat in a bar because it zooms out from that pie.
Yeah.
And Arya sat there in the thing. Hot pie comes on and goes, Harry.
Yeah.
Which is probably a call to Harry Potter, that one. But like Harry. It's been a long time kind of thing, that basically a little catch up.
Yeah.
He sits down with his pie and some ales, and I is like, oh, who's this pie? Before he even answers, takes the pie, starts eating the pie. Yeah. Who's this ale? Takes the ale, starts drinking the ale.
Yeah.
And they have this little interaction where Arya's like, well, Hot Pie says like, "What are you doing up here?" Or like, "What are you doing?" kind of thing. Like, "Oh, I heard Cersei's queen now." And he goes, "Oh yeah, she blew up the Sept, I believe. That would have been a sight." Boom.
Yeah, I like Hot Pie. I've mentioned it before on our main podcast. I was saying to you, like, the fact that he just, one day just goes off into a baker's, you never see him again, like working in a tavern or whatever. So the fact they've actually gone back and caught up with Hot Pie, I'm like, yes.
I mean, we have seen him once before, like since Arya left.
Yeah.
It was when Brienne
went through there, yeah.
In the conversation, in fact, in this scene, she mentioned, "Oh, did you meet the big lady?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, she caught with me," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she's eating the pie as well. Actually, someone mentioned this in work, and she was eating the pie. It's like, "Oh, it's dead nice pie." This, and it's like, "Oh, well, the trick is that you have to brown the pastry." And she goes, "Oh, I didn't do that." I was like, "Oh, you've been baking pies?" "Yeah, I've done some."
Yeah, 1 or 2, yeah.
1 or 2 kind of thing. And that's obviously a callback to when she cooked
Black Walder.
That's it, Lord Walder.
Yeah.
Walder Frey?
2 of them, I think, yeah.
Walder Frey's children, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was his children anyway. I didn't pick up on this until we were talking about it today, but like that's obviously what it was referring to. They're talking about it anyway. It says like, "Oh yeah, Cersei's there." It's like, "Oh, well, I would have thought you'd been going north." Is what Hot Pie says to us. Like, "Why would I go north? Like, to Winterfell." Like, well, the Ramsays the Boltons have got that. Why would they go there? Like, no, the Boltons are all dead.
Yeah.
Jon Snow's the king of the north now. It's like, oh, what? No, you're lying, kind of thing. It's like, why the hell would I lie about that?
Yeah, so she's gonna head off north.
Well, it was weird because like before when she was eating, she was very matter of fact. She was very matter of fact. She was she was one word answers kind of thing.
Yeah.
As soon as you mentioned that, it's like, "Oh, what, really?"
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, thanks. I'm gonna and this is where it was like, "I'm not paying. No, friends don't pay for pies," kind of thing. And she's a bit more warmer to him at this point. She weren't very warm to him before, but she was like, "Don't get yourself killed. Be careful," kind of thing. And then she kind of leaves. It cuts basically to the next scene where she's outside, and you hear a couple of the men that were in the bar saying, "Oh, up to King's Landing," and down to King's Landing, and she's like, obviously she's considering it because that's where she was going, but then she goes the complete opposite direction. So we can take by this scene that she's gone
back up north,
to Winterfell.
Yeah,
and it pretty much cuts from there. We cut straight from there to Jon Snow receiving the raven from Sam.
Yeah,
about the Dragonstone under. No, sorry, the dragon glass under Dragonstone.
Yeah,
and it's like it cuts almost instantly to the council of all the lords and ladies.
Yeah,
and he's telling them all like, "I received this raven today, I think."
Yeah,
no, two days ago, about Dragonstone under Dragonglass under Dragonstone. And then it's like, "And today I received this one from Daenerys telling me to come down to Dragonstone." And, from Tyrion to come down to Dragonstone to meet Daenerys. I was like, "I'm going to accept." Anything to say about this scene?
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes from there, doesn't it? The whole council aren't happy with the fact that he's going to almost abandon his post and go down to Dragonstone. Purely because of like history repeating itself. Ned Stark's father and Ned Stark's brother went to King's Landing years ago and were burnt alive by the Mad King. Ned went south, was beheaded at the Sept of Baelor by Sir Rowland Payne, and Robb Stark went down fighting the war and was killed at the Twins. So nobody wants Jon Snow to follow the same fate, kind of thing. But they just argue back and forth, don't they? Really?
Is that little like argument between like Jon Snow and Sansa arguing like brother and sister, like they've been doing this season through kind of thing,
and like they were doing back in series 1 before.
Essentially, and Sansa's basically saying like, well, you can't do this kind of things. Like, you need to stay in the well. After that little lady. Moment,
young lady moment,
young lady moment. She's like, we need the king of the north in the north, and I'm fully aware that a lot of people don't like her. Like, she's I'm not gonna lie, I quite like this little lady. Like, I don't like child actors. I've never liked child actors, but I think I like her. She's got the role down. She's not like terrible or anything. So.
I just think if I was in that meeting, I'd be like, no, come on now, it's bedtime for you.
no, I get what you mean, but like,
used to bed, like.
she's now the lady of the mom,
Bear Island, yep.
And basically after this, Sansa's kind of reiterating it's like, you need to be here with us. Like, what are we going to do about our king?
But like I said, just going on from that, like, it just feels like everyone's not seeing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is Jon Snow's the only one who knows what's coming. Well, maybe he's the only one who believes what's coming because he's seen it with his own eyes. Everyone else is thinking about the King of the North, our own situation, but like they're just not getting into the head that there's
a bigger threat out there.
There's a bigger threat coming down. Yeah,
the Walker's coming, and I think Jon Snow reiterates it to them at this point, like. She's got an army. She's got 3 dragons.
Yeah.
She's literally currently on top of a mountain of dragonstone.
Yeah.
I've got dragon glass, sorry. We need to go down there kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm going to take Lord...
Sir Davos, yeah.
I keep calling him a lord, but it's Sir Davos, isn't it? I'm going to take Sir Davos and we're going to head south. Yeah. Which, by the way, like the fact that like Sir Davos is going, I think we spoke about this before. We know that the Red Lady is down there.
Lady Melisandre is a Dragonstone now.
She's that might create a bit of a problem.
Once Davos found out that Lady Melisandre burned Shireen alive, he wasn't a big fan of her. So.
Yeah, and I don't think Jon Snow was when he
learned that. Yeah,
he literally told her to get lost. Essentially, like, you go. I think he said to her. In fact, he said like, right, you basically go south or go far away from here, and if I ever see you here again, I'll be burning you alive. Essentially. Yeah. But then this whole conversation anyway ends with Jon Snow saying like, well, I need to go. And I'll be leaving the North in good hands anyway. Yeah. And Sansa's like, who? And it's like, well, you.
Yeah, so who else would it be, Sansa?
You're like the only other Stark here.
Yeah.
And you're my sister kind of thing.
Oh, that'd have been an amazing twist. If, like, you know where it's going, and he's like, I'm leaving the North in your hands. And she's like, well, who are you leaving? Sorry, in good hands. And she's like, well, who? It's like, oh, Bran. He just come down from the wall.
Bran's here now, mate. Yeah. Well, that's a point. Like, he's got to come soon, hasn't he? Yeah. And all the while, Lord Baelish is in the background with a bit of a smirk on his face. I love
that. That smile on his face. It's like, he knows what...
He knows that he's getting his own way here. So.
Yeah. Basically, he's just keeping an eye out for any opportunity, and... This is definitely an opportunity for him. He's
literally got only one thing on his mind, and that's the throne, isn't it? He wants to be king, essentially.
As much power as possible, basically, yeah.
Well, we cut from there anyway. That's pretty much the end of that scene. Yep. We cut straight from there to Jon Snow in the crypt, basically looking at Ned Stark's remains. Well, it's like a statue of
They've got the Sean Bean nose down perfectly. Got like a massive nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
And he's looking down at that, and obviously thinking, well, it's obviously something to do with like the memory, like what's happened to everyone else in that family.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh God, well, I'll be all right, hopefully, kind of thing. Lloyd, he soon realises that Lord Baelish has been tailing him.
Yeah.
And they have a bit of a conversation where Baelish is a bit too forward, if you ask me. Where he's
think
just like,
so?
Well, it's like, I loved Caitlin.
Oh, I like the bit before that when he starts off the conversation. John was like, before the statue, and Lord Baelish is like, I delivered the bones myself.
Yeah. I didn't. It was a bit weird, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. But sorry, yeah, this whole section, like you were mentioning there, like he's just, I don't know how to explain, but Jon Snow is almost, for me, too stupid to reason with. He's used to dealing with people who have ulterior motives that he can play on and take advantage of. He can't do that with Jon Snow because
he's got one motive.
He hasn't got any other motives. Yeah, do you know what I mean? He's used to preying on people's weakness. And
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And he can't do it with Jon Snow. He's literally up shit creek kind of thing, trying to deal with Jon Snow. And the fact that he's leaving, I think he's like, I can actually work with something now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and they have this like I said, this little conversation where he's talking about how I love Caitlin, and I now I love Sansa, and it's that good because Jon Snow he basically grabs him by the throat and he's like, "You ever touch Sansa, and I will kill you." And this is very reminiscent of a scene with Ned Stark and Lord Baelish in the first season.
Yeah.
Where Lord Baelish smuggles Caitlin into his brothel and he doesn't believe him and he kind of holds him against the wall by his neck again.
Yeah.
And Baelish turns around to him and says, just like all Starks, slow-minded and quick temper.
I think so. Yeah,
and so I think this scene's supposed to be a bit reminiscent of that kind of thing.
Definitely remember what happened to Ned when that happened.
Exactly. Hopefully, I mean, I'm sure you've said you're not the biggest fan of Jon Snow, but
yeah,
I'm neither here nor there with him. I don't hate him, don't love him, but I think at this point it would be a bit daft to kill him because...
No, I agree.
Because you've killed him once before and you've brought him back. To kill him again just seems daft to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's... Any more you want to say on that scene?
I was having a mad flashback then to The Leftovers. When he mentioned there about what's the point of killing him just to bring him back. Yeah, The Leftovers might do a bit of that. Yeah, sorry, I was just having a weird, deja vu then.
But we that pretty much ends down in the crypt.
Yeah.
And Jon Snow basically started riding out with Sir Davos.
Yeah.
And a few other armymen kind of thing. And you kind of see it pans over to Lord Baelish and he's kind of like rubbing his neck.
Yeah.
And he starts looking around and looks directly at Sansa,
who was looking straight out the gates. I noticed she wasn't even
she wasn't paying any
attention to him. She's watching Jon Snow leave.
So he's obviously thinking, okay, now's my chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just a short little scene afterwards, just basically Jon Snow riding out. Next scene, it's Arya on her way up north, and she's kind of camping. She looks very cold. A horse looks a bit on edge, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And before the horse seems to get very antsy as well, and then we soon realise it's because a pack of dire wolves are kind of zeroing in on the two of them, and it's not long before we realise that the head of the leader of this pack is actually Nymeria.
Yeah.
Arya's wolf from season 1, which she literally got rid of so he didn't die.
Yeah.
And there's this weird little scene where she's kind of trying to talk the wolf down.
Yeah, almost, and trying to convince her to come with her, but the wolf just won't have it, will she?
well, it's like growling at her, and she's like, "Oh, Nymeria, like I'm going back to Winterfell. You should come with me," kind of thing.
Yeah,
and this is. Like I haven't come up with this myself, but like I'll admit, like I've read this online earlier. This is supposedly very reminiscent of something. Well, I should have finished off the scene before I said this. Basically, this all happens, and like the wolf just kind of walked away, and Arya says, "Oh, that's not you." And I was reading online this is very reminiscent of something that happened in season 1 again, with Ned Stark, where he's saying to Arya, well, when you grow up, you'll be wearing all these frilly dresses, you'll be marrying a prince, and you'll be doing lots of stuff you don't want to do. And she's like, that's not me, that kind of thing. And this whole scene's kind of like, from what what I was reading is saying, it's kind of saying like, the wolf isn't going to be controlled. It's not going to do what it's supposed to do. This wolf is going to do exactly what it wants. When
she's saying like, "Come to Winterfell with me," and it's like, no, the wolf doesn't want to do that. You know, exactly. The wolf will be who it wants to be.
Exactly like Arya.
Yeah.
Which is why she says that's not you, because that's what she said. That's not me, kind of thing. But that was just a quick short scene, just basically just to let us know that Nymeria is still alive. I'm thinking that Nymeria might make another appearance in the season.
Just to go off the back of that, not to keep going back to the books, but I don't think they've done this in the show, but in the books, you get a lot of dreams of Arya. And she always dreams of being in the wolf, kind of thing, hunting at night. And I don't think they're doing this in the show, but in the books, all of the Starks are shown to have like warg abilities.
Not just Bran,
where they can take over animals and what have you. Like Jon Snow and Ghost have a kind of...
Well, that was a big theory at the end of season 5, wasn't it? That Jon Snow was going to come back. Oh, he was going to go into the wolf. And become
Ghost or whatever. Ghost. Yeah.
But thinking about it, that would have been like quite expensive for him, that to basically have Jon Snow living only within a wolf. So that obviously didn't make any sense. But
yeah, so in the book, there's been loads of callbacks to like how she's always dreaming as Nymeria kind of thing. So she's never met up with Nymeria again. So this is the first time we've actually seen her come back.
I'm thinking we'll see Nymeria a bit more.
Yeah, she'll definitely come back. Yeah,
from this point onwards.
Yeah.
Okay. We basically cut from there to basically the penultimate part of the episode. It kicks off at this point anyway, but it starts off anyway with Ilaria, Sand and Yara. You know, they're getting a bit of flirty on the deck kind of thing. And, and Ilaria seems to be making fun of Fionn a little bit.
Yep.
And he like, Yara's like, leave him alone, and he's like, it's fine, I'm fine, kind of thing.
I think she wants like wine, and she's like, he's not your servant. It's like, it's fine, you know. Yeah.
And she's asking like, so what's Fion's job? Oh, to protect me, kind of thing. Which we'll get to in a minute. Like he's like, yeah, he's like my body. He's gonna protect me, kind of thing. It's like, well. And this is where they starts getting flirty. She kind of opens Yara's legs and she's like, come on, there's a foreign invader here. Just before, well, you hear pretty much an explosion, like the ship's just been attacked essentially. And this is when the scene just goes to a massive battle between Euron and the other
Greyjoys, basically.
Euron, Yara, Fionn, the Sand Snakes. And a big battle happens. The daughters, two of the daughters of the Sand Snakes, like they get killed like in epic fashion.
Both by Euron.
Both by Euron.
Yeah.
The mother, Ilaria.
I think it's Ilaria.
Oh, is it
Ilaria Sand? She's called.
Oh, is it Ilaria? Sorry,
I think so.
but Eloraya then, she gets captured with her daughter by the scene.
her daughter, yeah.
The third daughter.
Yeah.
And wait, are they sisters?
They're all the Sand Snakes, yeah, but they have different mothers, I think.
Oh, do they have different mothers?
Yeah, because Oberyn Martell, the reason they're called the Sand Snakes is, like Jon Snow is a bastard called Snow. They're from Dawn, they're called Sand. They're all Oberyn Martell's bastards.
Ah, right,
like,
okay.
Yeah. And that's the Sand Snake thing, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. And so one of them survives, which is her daughter.
Yeah.
And but like she's like she comes under attack by these people. She's like, "Oh, just kill us now, get it over with." And the men are like, "Yeah, no, that's not
not going to happen."
And it cuts back to. I think you were saying earlier about the whole cuts thing.
Yeah, I think the editing of this battle isn't great, to be honest with you. It cuts from Euron fighting the two Sand Snakes. I think it's Ober. Oh, I can't think now. They're fighting above deck. And the way it's cut, I thought at first that they like landed fatal blows on Euron. Because it cuts to below deck and she's like stabbing like people in the crotch and stuff like that. It cuts back above deck to Euron fighting the Sand Snakes. And I thought at first that Euron had been like fatally wounded or something, but yeah, it's just a little issue I've got with it. Like,
I get what you mean. I thought this, to be honest. Like, I thought he'd been like actually stabbed in the crotch.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but like, he's actually the guy below deck that happened to.
Like, it was only really like he'd been slashed a few times. He got an arrow to the neck, I think.
I think a spear in the back as well at one point. Yeah, and like a whip to the neck and stuff.
but like I love this because this all happens, and then. Like Theon's there, like fighting people, and Yara basically jumps down and starts attacking him, and he's like, "Give your uncle a kiss."
Yeah, I love Euron. He's such a cool character.
I definitely think he's going to be our new Ramsay, isn't he?
Yeah, new bad guy. Yeah,
we needed it because we're going to get boring without it, really. So he's definitely going to be that for us now. But like Yara starts fighting him, and he kind of. Comes where Theon's there, like about to fight him, but he's got Yara around the neck, and he's like, "Come on, save your sister," kind of thing. Come on, you cockless bastard.
I think because we're cockless wonder at one point. Yeah, it's like it's a bit harsh.
That's what I mean. He calls him like a cockless, something.
Yeah,
and we get this little thing where like Theon's like looking around and he starts twitching and stuff because he's seen people having body parts chopped
like
off,
the tongue cut out and stuff, and he's having flashbacks like Ramsay Bolton basically,
pretty much chopping parts of him off.
Yeah,
and the fun, like almost as funny as the scene where little Tommen jumps out the window. He just takes a dive off the edge of the ship, and Yara's there crying like, "Oh God, thanks, Theon."
Yeah, he really is useless.
For me though, like I don't know if he like. It seems like the smart move. It genuinely does.
Yeah, it does.
Because like if he went forward, he was gonna die. Yara was gonna die. So it kind of seems like the smart move to do.
Maybe,
but. We'll get it at the end of the episode, but like looking at the preview for the next episode, don't know how that'll play out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he jumps off. It goes overboard. Euron's laughing his head off.
I mean, for me, that was the point for Theon. To finally get like a glorious death and think, like redeem himself, but nope. Still a coward.
Yeah. And then the episode basically ends with Theon in the water and Euron's ships.
Yeah. A little detail I love there as well. On Euron's ship at the, is it the bow or at the front or stern?
Oh, yeah.
He's got the two Sand Snakes displayed, one hung and the other one like, he stabbed the other one, running through twice with the two spears, and he has her like propped up on the bow of the ship.
Yeah, pretty much. Right? Yeah, and that's pretty much how the episode ends, though, isn't it? It's just like the ship going off into the distance, and then the credits roll, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Before we finish the episode, though, I wanted to talk about a few predictions that we might have and next week's episode trailer, because I watched the preview for the next episode.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want to do first? Do you want to do the trailers or do you want to do your predictions?
Well, they kind of tie in. Do the trailer first because it kind of ties into,
basically, we had a look at the trailer, didn't we? And there's just a few little points, and we it's only short, but we had like Euron riding into, I think it was King's Landing.
Yeah.
Was it definitely King's Landing?
I think so, like a street parade.
It looked very much like King's Landing anyway. Yeah. And he's like riding on a horse, and he seemed to have like a whip in his hand. Like, and I can only assume that only like either Yara or
I think it's Elaraya.
Elaraya, sorry. I'm going to have to get that pronunciation down, but we can either think it's Yara or Elaraya, like on the end of that whip.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was just like a short one, and like he seemed to be getting cheered by a crowd as well.
Yeah.
I can only assume that was like people from King's Landing,
like a street parade or
something like that. Like, because obviously, like Cersei's probably like, well, look at this hero, he's just saved all your asses.
Yeah.
And there's another one which it cuts to almost like a battle between a couple of soldiers. I think the Unsullied were in there.
Oh, that'll be Casterly Rock.
That's what I was thinking. Is it the Battle of Casterly Rock we're going to see next week?
Yep.
And I don't know if there's any more that you notice yourself, but there was the final scene, which was Jon Snow finally meeting Daenerys.
Yeah.
So
people have waited for that for a long time. So
yeah.
To be honest with you, one thing I've waited for a long time, we've never seen Casterly Rock in the show ever.
We've not, have we?
The first time we
that
actually...
That is something I've been waiting for myself for a very long time.
Even in the books, I'm pretty sure nothing is set at Casterly Rock, so it'd be interesting to actually see, what the deal is there. Just going off the back of that, I made a prediction at work a week or two ago, and I'm pretty sure it involved, almost to the letter, of like being paraded through streets and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure I said that, like, that the gift would be, but I did say the Greyjoys. I thought it'd be like Theon and Yara.
Yeah.
But I mean, Yara's going to be there by the look of it.
By the looks of it, Yara's going to be there. And but like, I know you, like, that was your prediction, but like, I always thought it would be Elaraya.
Elaraya. I could be wrong on that, to be honest. I mean, that's the trouble. I've always read it, kind of thing. But,
yeah. But like, I always thought it'd be her because like the Greyjoys, obviously, like she's not the biggest fan of them, Cersei, but I feel like Elaraya's like a bit worse because she killed her daughter. So
yeah, she killed Myrcella, didn't she? So she's like public enemy number one kind of thing. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we pretty much called that, I think. Did we predict it last week on the show? I don't know.
I feel like we did. Well, you definitely called that Euron would be catching up with them too.
Delivering a gift, which would be the Greyjoys.
You pretty much called that it would be them.
Yeah. Can I make a prediction for next week and beyond?
By all means, yeah.
I think, Daenerys didn't plan this. I think not only will Euron mess things up for the Greyjoys and the Dawn people, also Randall Tarley, I think will work for the Lannisters.
Do you reckon?
And I don't know if it'll be next week or not, but I think we'll see the Tyrells in the same way that they've been, the Greyjoys have been defeated and captured this week. I think the Tyrells will be defeated at Highgarden, and the Lannisters will just storm through Highgarden. So Daenerys' plans have all gone up in smoke. Olenna will be gone. The Sand Snakes and the Greyjoys will be gone. All of her allies she was working with will be taken straight away.
To be fair, these are only new allies. All of these allies are only ones that she's kind of gained since coming to West. Well, apart from Theon Greyjoy, the Greyjoys, because like they kind of came just before heading over to Westeros, but the other two she's only gained since coming to Westeros. So
yeah,
but like the Unsullied and the Dothraki seem to be doing quite a good job for her.
Yeah, I think they'll get Casterly Rock, but without the other two, the plan's almost worthless because she wanted to do it like with as fewer deaths as possible. And if these two things fail, she can't do that. She'll lose the Tyrells, lose Dawn, lose the Greyjoys.
Yeah.
So I think she'll be annoyed at Tyrion. I think Tyrion will take the flak for it, and I think she'll go mental and just launch. I don't know if it'll be next week or not, but I think she'll just launch an attack with the dragons. Have
you seen what the name of the next episode's called?
No.
It's called The Queen's Justice.
Oh, well, yeah.
So we've got...
Well, so you did mention that actually in Word today, didn't you? But I think that'd be more Cersei, that. I think that'll be... Yeah, that'd be more Cersei dealing with...
obviously we've got 3 queens at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got now the Queen of the North, we've got the Queen of Dragons, and we've got the Queen of all the 7 king. Well, I think it's three kingdoms at this point, but so like we've got an option there as to which queen's going to be dishing out justice.
Yeah, or all 3 maybe.
But maybe, maybe because it looks like Sansa's she's going a bit Cersei-ish.
Yeah.
Now we've got Daenerys, who, like you say, she might be dishing out a bit of justice to Lord Tyrion.
Well, I think, again, I don't know if this will be next week or not. I'm probably talking too far into the future, but I think once the Tarly and the Lannisters are finished with House Tyrell in Highgarden, even to the point of they could be going back to like King's Landing, and she'll just like decimate them on the way or something, something like that maybe. Or we know that Euron is back at King's Landing, so it won't be him that she catches up with. But, something like that maybe. But I think the Dothraki will get Casterly Rock, but it's almost like too little too late kind of thing. It doesn't really mean anything without...
I don't know, I still feel it would mean something. Casterly Rock, it's still like their stronghold, isn't it? It's still like...
Yeah, the Lannister home
like
kind
without
of thing.
they've not got much, have they? Like,
yeah,
like
a lot of the money's tied up there, apparently. So
they've got a lot of things there, so... I mean, we will finally get to see Casterly Rock at least, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean... Anything else you want to say on that?
I've got one more prediction, if that's okay. This is more of a longer term prediction. I've mentioned this to you a few times, I think, in work. I don't think any of the big players will die this season. I think like Cersei, Jaime, Daenerys, Jon Snow, Sansa, Arya. I don't think anyone will get bumped off this season. I think there will be some kind of understanding at the end of the season. They all have to unite and fight the White
I don't
Walkers.
know. I'm just going to counter that prediction. Just in one small little, well, it's not even small. It's probably a big way as the show goes. I'm gonna predict that Cersei's gonna still die at the hand of her brother. I think that's gonna have to happen because we can only assume that in the next season that the White Walkers will be the main focus of everyone. Everyone's going to realise, oh shit, we're actually going to die if we don't we don't band together, kind of thing. And in my opinion, Cersei's the one thing that's standing in the way of that. Yeah. And like everyone else would band together quite easily, but I don't think Cersei ever would.
Do you think?
I don't ever see that happening. And I think. As you were saying before, like Jaime, he knows that he can't just blindly follow a mad ruler.
Yeah, in the same way that Varys said. Yeah.
So like, I feel like Jaime. I mean, we're assuming it's Jaime. It could still be Tyrion, but like the prophecy's there that she's going to get killed by her little brother.
Yeah.
And so we can only assume that like. I assume anyway that Cersei's going to die this season because I think in order for it to go, as you say, where everyone bands together to battle, she'll have to die.
Maybe. I mean, what I'm thinking is we're seeing that Jon Snow and Daenerys are meeting up next week. I think there's almost going to be a big meeting of them all at the end of the series saying, look, we need to deal with this. And maybe going on from that, it's a case of like, Cersei's the one who's like, no, forget it, I'm not doing it. But then Jaime's like kills her, so they have the Lannister army to fight for them.
That's what I mean. Like I feel like even though like he still seems dead set on like standing with Cersei, he's got a bit more of a level head than she does, and he's killed the ruler he served once before. Yeah.
So now he'd be a queen slayer as well if he...
that's it.
And a kin slayer, killing his own sister.
I feel like that's... I'm not going to straight up out say that like he's going to kill his sister. Like, it might be Tyrion still, but I think she's going to die because she'll have to in order for the battle against the White Walkers to actually happen. Yeah. That's my prediction anyway.
Yeah, that's my one, so I'm okay with that. Yep.
Okay. Right. I think if you're okay with that, we can pretty much end the talk of Game of Thrones right there.
Yep, that sounds good.
Might as well just wrap it up with our social media handles and the like, and we'll just end it there.
Yep, cool.
Would you like to go ahead with yours?
I'll go first. You can catch me at Taylor1980 on Twitter.
I'm found on Twitter also at DSTE Nick. We've got a main podcast Twitter, which is Don't Spoil the Ending, by the way. That's the name of our podcast.
Yeah, our main one.
The Twitter handle is at DSTE Podcast. We also have a Facebook, which is facebook.com/DSTE Podcast.
Yep.
If you've got any predictions, if you think we're talking utter rubbish,
yeah, definitely.
Please send us a message. If you think I've said the word too many times, tell me, because I've counted this, by the way. I actually counted last episode. In the first 5 minutes, I said 37 times. So if you think that's annoying, by all means tell me, and I'll try my utmost hardest to stop. But like, apart from that, if you've got predictions, if you think we're talking up also bullshit, then tell us.
Definitely. Like I've spoke a lot of like kind of like facts and figures with Game of Thrones. I'm pretty sure 90% of it's garbage. So if I've got anything wrong, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Yeah.
If your pronunciation of Alaria is incorrect, by all means,
let us know. Yep, definitely.
But that's it, I think, from me. Nice one for doing this, John.
Cheers, Nick. Good to see you again.
You too, John. And that's it from me, so bye, thank you.
Yep, cheers, see you next week, bye.